Hello, and welcome to the Settlers 4 World Championship Finals weekend. We're here today and tomorrow to watch the final of the World Championship between TCG Slayers 4 and jagdtiger. And before we start today, I can show you a few stats and look a little bit back to the history of the two players and of the World Championship before we take a deep dive into the actual games. And the stats are provided here by KingCat. He put in the effort, and I have with me today as well Vincent or ZL Bobissime that will be casting with me this first day and also going through the pre-show. Welcome in.
Welcome.
Okay, let's have a first look. So the World Championship has not happened that many times, considering the game is really old at this point. Since in the first 20 years we only had one World Championship. With 2002, ZL Andorra won the first championship, and then there wasn't another championship till 2021. And that was won by TCG Slayers 4, and he now, as the current champion, is also defending his title today and tomorrow. And we'll see if he's able to manage that, as jagdtiger definitely not an opponent to underestimate. Funnily enough, the two of them have met each other multiple times in finals of tournaments before, but it was never a 1v1, it was always a 2v2, and both of them went out victorious with a 2-0 victory in a best of 3. Both of the tournaments, though, were quite different in terms of setup. We can first of all see that the first tournament was in 2021, the same year the championship that Slayer won. So might have been his prime time as well, and jagdtiger definitely got better over the years. And another thing is that the second tournament that jagdtiger won was very different in terms of how the teams were made. It wasn't just teams that wanted to sign up together, it was tried to be balanced by a console that was like, okay, these are weaker players, these are better players, and then like a tiny bit of choosing in like a bracket kind of thing. So yeah, quite different, and therefore the teams might not have been the most balanced, but jagdtiger won it nonetheless, and since it was definitely tried to be balanced, and I shouldn't have said not balanced, but since it was tried to be balanced, but jagdtiger has a very unique playstyle and might have not actually been balanced because, surprise, nobody actually picked him for a while, although he was one of the top players to be able to be picked as a teammate. Now, today we'll look at lots of stats. We have averages, we'll take a little bit of a recap of how their run in the bracket and Swiss stage were, and what I'm mostly hyped for is the special characteristics of the two, because they play quite differently. First of all, we have the Swiss stage run of TCG Slayer, and the Swiss stage run of TCG Slayer was quite a surprise, as he actually lost a game, which many people were not expecting. He still is considered the best player in the community from pretty much everybody. So yeah, it was very surprising that Jessen took a game off him, but it was a banger match. It was an absolute banger match. It was not a conventional victory. Jessen won that game by killing the last tower of Slayer with a war machine. Very unconventional play. Nothing I have seen before. Maybe it has happened before in a tournament match like that, but definitely a unique thing to be seeing. And other than that, it was a relatively smooth sailing run through the Swiss stage, and with that, into the knockout stage. And for jagdtiger,
should
yeah?
probably get the people to watch that game if they haven't watched it.
Oh yeah,
Very nice. It's like a good example of how to play HGMG, and it's also very intense in the fighting and everything
Yes.
else. So watch that game.
Yeah. Absolute cinema game to watch. Yeah. jagdtiger's Swiss stage run wasn't nearly as impressive or exciting. He had some good matches, just like general, like I'd say somewhat competitive matches, like the Swiss stage was in a different mode. Yeah. But it wasn't anything upsetting or anything crazy there. He went out as 5-0 as 2 other people. He went out of the Swiss stage 5-0, and with that also now all the way into the finals, so he is good at every mode the championship provided to us. Here we have the bracket, and in the bracket we can see as well that although TCG Slayer lost the game against Jessen in the Swiss stage, he actually came back and fought him in the semi-finals of the tournament again, and there he won 2-0 very convincingly and very safe as well. We definitely had a little bit of the, like we could see the kinda fear from losing that way again, because although it's a different mode, a War Machine or other ways of sniping the last tower still are always a threat, and we definitely could see in one of the games, not in both of them, but in one of the games that he played very, very safe and slow and made sure he's not gonna lose the game, although he already had a huge advantage and it looked unlosable to a spectator at that point. Other than that, also not a too interesting run by him here on the top left side, by the way, if you haven't noticed here. That's the run of Slayer. On the left, bottom right side, we have jagdtiger's run.
Let's talk a bit more about the run of Slayer, because I think there were some interesting things in that run.
Okay, I haven't watched it all the way, so you might have some thoughts to tell. Yeah.
So I was talking to Slayer himself about his run, and he said there were like 2 games that he could have lost during his run. He did not lose a single game.
Yeah.
There were 2 close ones in his opinion, and one was against Freaking, and the other one was against Eckhart.
Yeah.
As he told me, I've not watched all of them, to be honest.
Wait, you make me remember a Freaking game that I think, like Freaking Slayer game that I think I actually casted myself, where it looked like Slayer had lost for quite a while.
Yeah, he had to.
It was Vikings against Mayans, for anybody trying to watch it back later on. Vikings against Mayans, and Freaking had like the stronger economy, more soldiers, more everything for pretty much the entire game. And then at some point his economy just it crumbled. I don't remember exactly why, but I think his economy just was dead. He didn't produce soldiers anymore, and that was the actual turning point for Slayer. But before that, it was a hard fight in Slayer's land, trying to stay alive, and it was so close that Slayer didn't lose.
I recall correctly, it was food.
Yeah, I think it was food. It might have been meat specifically, I think, but maybe it was.
That's what I remember too, but I'm not quite sure about it.
Yeah, I think he might have used a little bit too much combat mana to try winning fights, but I'm not 100% sure on that fact. I definitely know that that was a really close match that I did actually cast myself. I definitely didn't cast Slayer vs. Egg game, though I'm pretty sure there were times where I just didn't have time to cast.
I'm also not sure what happened there, because I only talked to Slayer about it and not watched it myself.
Yeah.
I think the first one was quite convenient for Slayer, because at the time Koala was not as strong as he is today. So it was convincing to a victory, no problem. Like some amount of hope for Eckhart in one of the games, some really good hope for Freaking one of the games. I think the other one was quite favored for...
Yeah, I think so too, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and the fourth game he against Jessen, both games, I don't think they were quite...
They weren't really that close, and I felt like, from watching, I felt like Slayer actually really tried to not have a way of losing in those games, because you really felt, especially in the second game, you really felt the fear of how he lost against him in the Swiss stage. It was so I got genuinely bored of how slow it was, because there was nothing cooking for any player. Like, I could see that Jessen just doesn't have a chance of winning anymore. And he was trying a few things, but I just saw that Slayer had everything prepared to not lose. So yeah, it really felt like a very, very convincing victory there.
The start wasn't that convincing, sir.
The start wasn't that convincing? You mean...
Yeah, the game where Slayer played Rowan against...
Yeah, the initial defense wasn't that convincing. Or like, I guess the defense was convincing, but like the initial, like the fact that Jessen had more troops. Exactly. In the end, it was.
Edward early game and Slayer's early game was good. It wasn't too bad, but it wasn't like a top performance. And Jessen had a quite good game as Mayan. He had like 260 or something, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Slayer had mana, and somehow Jessen's fight was bad because Slayer took a really good fight. That's like a prime example of how to use Roman mana inside of your own settlement and find a good.
And also in general,
settlement.
Fighting in your own settlement. Nice. Yeah.
I like that fight a lot. I think if you want to learn how to fight in your own settlement, that's like a prime example of how to do it.
Yeah.
And after that, the game was just over because Jessen was like 50 more soldiers than Slayer and lost some soldiers to the mana also, which are not counted into the kill statistics.
Yeah.
So
I would say
it was like ahead, and then Jessen's economy crumbled, and then Slayer just convincingly overpowered.
Yeah,
it's the boring part. But the first part was quite nice.
Exactly. I would say that both of the games were competitive at PT. If I remember correctly, the first game was it a Trojan mirror match?
Mayan versus Trojan, yes. Also Trojan from Slayer and Mayan from Jessen.
Jessen couldn't have played Mayan twice. He played Trojan on the first game, I'm pretty sure.
Sorry,
it was vice versa.
Swapped them. Slayer played Mayan and Jessen.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct, yeah.
And it was like a very small map where
they were like right next to each other.
We're directly at the middle axis, and Slayer sent in like 100 thieves and stole weapons and gold from Jessen.
Yeah, that was a banger play.
A very nice play, but in the end, it did not bring any advantage.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Because he was in
Settlers shortage afterwards.
Settlers afterwards, yes, that was. But it was quite nice.
It was a fun watch for sure, and I'd say both games, at least at peacetime, were competitive. But Slayer did manage to have like higher combat power, and like I think in the first game was mostly combat power that won him the game, and in the second game it was just a really good fight in his own land. Enemy has like longer distances for soldiers to walk, and then really good fight. So it's like you don't actually take a worse fight, although you should have the worst combat power. Yeah, but let's go to jagdtiger. Jagdtiger's run started out with a relatively easy and nice matchup similar to Zen Koala, like Slayer's first game against Zen Koala. And then he got a really difficult matchup against Evergrey, the person that also kicked me out the round before that. And that is the one game that jagdtiger actually did lose here in the entire tournament so far. He didn't lose another game. And yeah, he lost the very first game with the Trojans, which is the Civ that most people would say is jagdtiger's strongest Civ. And afterwards, he did still manage to come back and win 2 games in a row with, especially his Vikings weren't really that expected, that he'd win with his Vikings against Evergrey's Mayans. That was quite a big upset, but it was also really nice played. And I remember specifically from that game, KingCat came to say that jagdtiger is the best Viking because he has grain farm standing at minute 15 or something like that. I find that a very interesting analysis, but generally I know that KingCat is very fond of jagdtiger's early games because jagdtiger tends to be really quick getting his eco up and running and get into grain farms and get into the production you want for soldiers.
Yeah, I think one of the... We will come to the characteristics, but one of the things jagdtiger does best is like the early game.
Yeah.
And later on he loses against KingCat often, so KingCat takes the victory in the end, at least in statistic points when they play against each other. But normally jagdtiger is stronger at peacetime, and having soldiers at peacetime also might win games, even so your later production might be a little bit lacking, or not much lacking against KingCat. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But this game is also like a must-watch. So at least the first one, I found that very, very interesting. It was quite nicely played, I think, by both players. Not an easy map.
Yeah.
And Jagdtiger was doing a push with
a war machines. Yeah. Also and some swords on the side.
Yannick had a very, very good game.
Yeah, it was a very good game. Second game was also a good watch. I think the third game wasn't that interesting because that was the game where Evergrey was on his third civ that wasn't that strong anymore. And Jagdtiger was on his mains, which...
The third game was Viking, right?
Evergrey's Vikings against...
Yeah, it was quite nice because they had asymmetric fighting. Both of them turned on the barracks of their enemy, and there might have been chances of sniping towers and winning that game forever.
Okay, I apparently just don't remember that game, because I remember the second game, and I remember that being a banger, because there was lots of action and lots of places, and lots of different places on the map. We had axes and swords in the back part of Evergrey settlement, and in the front we had a bowman army pushing with a war machine, putting on the pressure early, and there were nice fights where the war machine had quite a big usage in like improving the combat line. I remember that game being very nice to watch, but yeah, overall, I mean, both of the players had their banger matches throughout the knockout stage. I don't have a memory of Jagdtiger against APM whatsoever.
There's not so much to remember, I think.
Okay.
Very convincing victory
against against Lemon. I think both matches were pretty convincing as well.
Yes, the second one was also very nice on a really bad map. Not bad map, but a very hard to play map, I would call.
Was it the Mayans against Mayans? That was game 2, right?
No, game 2 was Trojans from Jagdtiger.
Yeah.
Was that game 1?
I think that was game 1. You're talking about the Trojan game.
We're talking about the Trojan game. Jagdtiger played Trojans, Lemon played Romans, and Jagdtiger had like 450 weapons or something at PT, or 430. With not that much gold, but Lemon had nothing out and got overrun. But I think the building part from Jagdtiger was quite nice and watchable there.
Yeah, I somehow don't remember the game whatsoever.
Of swamps to get away some stones and place some weapons.
Yeah, I think I'd never casted that match. Did I?
I did cast that, I think.
Oh yeah, you casted it because I didn't have time. I think. I don't know, I definitely remember that you casted it and I was happy that you did. Okay. Anyways, no, then that was the second game, I think, because I didn't cast the second game. You might be right. Nonetheless, it's a Trojan game. We want to go on. We still have a few more things to talk about, and I think they want to start the game soon. So let's move a little quicker here. So civilizations they picked throughout the thing, throughout the knockout stage here, as that's the same mode, and that's a little bit more relevant than the Swiss stage. We can see a tendency both tend to the more stone-heavy civilizations. Play a little bit more Mayans than Trojans, vice versa for Jagdtiger. We can especially see that tendency enhanced by their first pick, like their blind pick before the enemy has picked their civilization, that they tend to pick the stone-heavy civilizations, and especially same thing against, they are more Mayans, Jagdtiger more Trojans. Which I find a little bit interesting for Slayer, because I wouldn't have said that Slayer's Mayans are the best civ of him or something like that, but I would say for Jagdtiger that his Trojans generally are the best of his civilizations.
I do not expect Jagdtiger to play Trojans in game 1.
I don't have any expectation towards that.
Against the Viking or something like that, probably.
Maybe.
We will see Trojans against Viking.
Yeah, those are obviously then the rest of the picks. The second pick, we can also, if you realize, Jagdtiger has one game more because he actually lost the game in the knockout stage.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I don't think these statistics are that interesting because they played against weaker enemies sometimes. And
yeah.
I think they will have more tactic picks.
Exactly. I think today and tomorrow, like the finals will be much more interesting about how they are picking their civilizations. Now here in the game averages, we can already see a few characteristics shine out here a little bit. One, right at the beginning, game time, jagdtiger tends to finish his games quicker than Slayer does. Generally, I think that just straight up fits to jagdtiger's playstyle. jagdtiger plays more aggressive, more on the map, ready to take a fight and make the game more explosive, that something happens, enemy moves out and he just goes in with swords, wins the game or loses the game, one of the two. Like, he just kind of goes all in. Slayer, more methodical, and actually, like, yeah, tries to play safe and slow but steady, good economy, lots of soldiers. And funnily enough, something interesting that we can see here as well with soldiers at PT and betting score is that jagdtiger, although he tends to have more soldiers, doesn't tend to actually have more quality on the field, and it just has more soldiers that are less quality. And I think, although these numbers aren't like crazy differences, we will later see in the where it's just the no, it's not there. Okay, it's a few pages later. We'll see the stats, and there you can see that jagdtiger varies a bit more. But nonetheless, the having lots of not quality soldiers kind of counters the mana advantage that Slayer usually builds up. Slayer tends to play a little bit more on mana than jagdtiger, but mana isn't that good against low quality soldiers, as it's just removing a set amount of soldiers, removing lower quality but more soldiers, weaker than higher quality soldiers.
If you can't use your mana right, I think that against Slayer you can expect him to know where your level 3 soldiers are and only use mana on them, for example, or
yes,
like, use different spells.
I think I very much agree to that. It can sometimes be hard though to actually really follow through with that scheme, because sometimes the tier 3 soldiers aren't the soldiers that actually do the pressing damage. They aren't really what you want to use mana against. Like if the sword's flank comes in and it's tier 2, you kind of want to use mana against it because you might not have enough soldiers to actually counter it properly in that specific area. Then you want to use mana against it, and you don't really have a choice to use it against higher quality soldiers, which you would have liked to do. So we'll see how they play around those tendencies of them. I think both players have the opportunity to make something out of their, like, yeah, preferred playstyle of more soldiers, less quality, or more mana and only high quality soldiers. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, combat power isn't really saying all too much. It's not a crazy difference. I would say we can see maybe a little bit of a tendency that player tends to play a little larger and tends to also be able to actually use what he's producing on wood and stone more efficiently than jagdtiger, like actually get to use all of it. Just a tiny tendency. It's nothing crazy because both of them play on a really high level at the point where both players are able to build up really good economies, obviously, and the difference there might exist. It is pretty minimal, and we'll see if it actually makes a difference in any of these games. It might.
Loss of 246 and 245 are quite good.
Yeah.
It's average size.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, unfortunately, ships and war machines, we didn't see many. We did manage war machines in the games here that were used, and managed them as highlight games, maybe because there were war machines in them. Yeah, ships, although jagdtiger did actually build a warship in one of the games, he never actually used it, it didn't actually do anything, so yeah, not really much that they've used these new tools that don't exist for too long. Only for a few years it has been, like 1 or 2 years, I think, that war machines and warships can actually attack buildings. So yeah, it's a new tool, not many people actually used to it, but it can be really, really interesting to see and have lots of pressure behind it. And we'll see if we can see some in the finals. I'm expecting to at least see in one game a war machine, maybe even in 2 or 3, or like I'd say actually being used, because maybe a player will build it and then the game is over because you won the fight and never you really used it. Things like that happen. Anyways.
I think so too. I think it's a great analysis. 1 or 2 games we will see war machines and maybe some ships later on.
Yeah, maybe ships. If we have maps with lots of water, that is something that is way more likely to actually happen to be used. And here's the data set that a King Cat, like the data he was searching through, he is providing. And here we can see, and that's the one thing that I wanted to point out when we're looking at this, is that Slayer has very close betting score numbers here. They're pretty close together, all of them. We have a few that, like, there's nothing below 200. I think there's nothing below 200 for Jagdtiger as well, but very few low numbers. And when we go to Jagdtiger, we see quite a few, like, below 230. If we, like, here we see, like, I think 3 below 230, or maybe only 2. Yeah, only 2. And here we can see, like, 5 below 230. Like, quite a big difference. But then we also have 332 sticking out there, like, or some, which I'm pretty sure is currently still the record. I am not sure though. Yeah. That's the main thing I want to highlight here, that we kind of see a little bit of an inconsistency here, but it might also be that the maps were just like, Jagdtiger had a few more difficult to play maps, and he actually performed on the easy to play maps better than Slayer. We don't exactly know. It isn't that deep, and we will probably see the best when we actually see them both play on the exact same map. And now, before we finish this off, as the last point, the special characteristics of the two players, starting with Slayer, we've already mentioned a few of these a bit in the statistics we saw, as they shine out through the statistics a little bit. So yeah, let's start. As the first point listed here by King Cat, we have that Slayer rarely maneuvers himself into an economic dead end, equals very strong macro, and yeah, that is something we saw. I was saying a bit with the combat power, like he tends to just be playing really good and consistent all the way through, tends to use all his materials and just build up clean and good settlements. Also, partially due to the second point, his pre-digging style, where he is really efficiently splitting diggers and makes sure to really build a centric settlement around his starting tower, like doesn't really expand in like one direction, builds like one long settlement or anything like that. Yeah, builds efficient and it builds the settlement up efficiently, and then also in the meantime builds an efficient settlement on a level that nobody can really compete with. There are a few people that get close to. I wouldn't quite say that Jagdtiger in the long run overall is the person to compete in terms of macro.
I think what really stands out in Slayer's gameplay is splitting his diggers.
Yes, I think so.
The best.
It's something I was thinking of. I'd like to get an example out of a video, and I was like, how do I find an example as a spectator? You just can't see it. I would have needed to get like a POV of him, which I didn't go all the way there because I wanted to, like, this is pretty short term that this was all done. The data was data collection and put this together into kind of presentation was then like finished yesterday. So yeah. Something that also goes into this third point that I kind of forgot to mention here is the food. Food to heavy industry ratio. Slayer, as I said, builds up efficiently and efficient settlement. Very little food overflow. And just, yeah, the food he makes goes into heavy industry very perfectly. Doesn't really have lots of overflow there, as some other players do, which have either way too much food or way too little. And then we go to this point that does go a bit away from the macro, which is the good usage of special units and combat mana. Good usage and special units of combat mana. I actually have a few examples. And while I'm gonna go into these examples, I hope, this should now be shown on stream. Yes, it is. Perfect. I want to quickly answer the question in the chat. This will be a best of 5. We'll be having the first 2 games we played today and the next up to 3 games, depending on how many how they're playing will be played tomorrow. Now, this is a very good example of the mana usage. I'll actually speed this up a bit, because we want to get through this a bit quicker. Mana usage.
Of the 2030 championship, right? Playoffs.
You mean 2023 SU championship, Petimus tournament. It's where, it's
it's a final, right?
I think it's a final. I'm pretty sure it is. And we see Axe Warriors, Swordsmen with Blood Rush, Breezes just run over a Bowman army in a relatively open field. As I don't have the commentators unmuted because it would be German commentary, but it's they're talking about that these foresters and lumberjacks aren't really actually that. They don't. The field is pretty open still, and he just completely runs over it. And very good usage of mana. Also a very unique build he had. I think this is the most extreme case for mana. And now my browser is lagging out for me, unfortunately. But it's one example where we can see that he uses a lot of mana. I would say that in this game he was also just genuinely ahead in terms of soldiers' mana, like that together. I have another example, same tournament, also 2v2. This is less mana, but here we can see the good old swordsman backpack catapultist that I like to use and make a match really close against Evergrey as well. Probably should have made all of these 2x speed beforehand already, so it goes by a bit quicker, but here we can see how he uses the combination. Again, a combination that works better on open field, and again a situation where the field he's fighting on isn't actually, like, it's pretty open, although it's in enemy land. There could technically be buildings, relatively open, and we can see how, again, here he can take a pretty convincing victory, although it lags out a bit. But lots of backpack catapulters remaining. Use backpack catapulters and swordsmen. And then another game, actually from this tournament, against Freaking, where he also used Trojans, the Trojan backpack catapulters and swordsmen.
He did have the swordsman a bit too much to the front, but you see on the left side he's going back, on the right side he's going in, he's shifting his troops mid-combat.
Yeah.
And not like moving all of them together, so quite a good display.
Quite a good micro. It might not be like then we see now the swords were a little bit delayed on the left side, as you don't want to move into a clump.
It's quite fine because
now they go in
front of his
catapultist,
so he never tank with the unit that wants to do damage, and of course he also has more troops. So
but I think this fight was a pretty good example of how to take a really good fight. He had his backpack catapultist fight out of the enemy land the entire time with offensive combat power. Did he have the right combat power tick? Yes, he did. So very impressive performances he was able to deliver with mana, with special units.
We should speed up because the other two are finished.
Yes, that is what I was expecting. We only have Jagdtiger remaining. Jagdtiger, we already mentioned a few things. Very active on the map here on the right side, the point. He tends to, after peacetime, be ready, go on the map. Use lots of swordsmen for mobility, is multitasking, or I guess he himself isn't really multitasking too much, but the way he does it makes the enemy have to do lots of multitasking. It's very efficient actions he's taking that make the enemy have to do more than he actually has to do. Plays very efficient in a way, stops enemies' expansion, denies vision, really oppressive style of play outside of the tournament. In the tournament itself, I wanted to show that. I didn't get the clips ready, and we don't have time anyways. In the tournament, he didn't actually take that playstyle too seriously. He does it in casual games, 3v3s, 2v2s, whatever. He does it a lot, this kind of playstyle, but in the tournament, he has went back to the bread and butter of just bowman. And go into the enemy land, kill him.
I think he's adapting. And I think we will, against Alex, we will see games where he does one or the other. There will be games where he's playing late game, there will be games where he's playing more early game focused. He has different builds prepared.
I think so too.
We'll see very...
And
Alex does not vary that much. He's just stock standard playing his builds. He also has different builds, but most of them are focused on like big economy, having good numbers.
I do want to add that he never fully abandoned his playstyle. He always does, like, he always tries to stop enemies expansion, to deny vision. He always has a few swordsmen running around the enemy settlement. He never has zero unless the map is literally complete garbage to get a swordsman into the back of the enemy's land. But even then he usually does it. Like, I remember one of the games where it was an eternity to get your soldiers to the back. He still did it.
Yes.
So he, just a few, like 10, 20 maybe, not your entire army, but he does focus more on bowmen in the tournament so far, and I'm hoping we're gonna see very different approaches and different games from jagdtiger. And what we also mentioned...
He will be sniping towers, because Alex is not the best at...
Oh yeah. I mean, sniping
tower sniped.
It's the way he essentially lost the game in a Swiss stage. It's not a tower snipe with soldiers, but it's a tower snipe with a war machine.
It was soldiers and war.
Yeah, to be fair, he did take like the first tower and maybe even the second tower with soldiers, yeah. Okay. And the other points are just that jagdtiger has a really, really strong early game and does a lot of things to have that strong early game. Like here, as mentioned, that he sometimes skips out on making geologists and makes more builders in the beginning to just get the early game up and running. And he has really strong early games. As I said earlier, 15-minute grain farms as Vikings isn't something you see all that often from people. And the last point that basically goes hand in hand with the short game time and the being out on the map, he doesn't hesitate to go all in. He goes when he sees enemies moving out with like 90% of his army and he has 300 swordsmen ready to go in and kill the enemy, he will go in and he might win or lose depending on how much mana the enemy has to defend it. He doesn't stray away from plays like that, and I think that is the beauty I'm hoping to see from jagdtiger at least once, where he has that kind of play that will be really exciting to watch and see how it goes out. Now, yeah, that is the end, and I think we have to finish. So, yeah. Who is your favorite? As the last question to you all. In Twitch chat or later YouTube comments. We're eager to see what people are expecting, and I mean, I myself have a favorite in the sense that I'd love to see jagdtiger win, but I do feel like that Slayer probably will win. It's kind of how I go about it. I'm hoping to see a 3-2 just for the distance, for the content. Expecting probably more like a 3-1 in terms, in favor of Slayer. That's kind of what I'm getting the feel for, but who knows? What's your opinion on that?
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Nice.
Like really exactly.
Okay,
so
then...
Let's move over so we don't delay the game for the...
Exactly. Let's go into the final. I think I'll go into a quick pause, because they probably have already set up and they are talking to each other, and I just have to get in the lobby and stuff. We'll be right back, and yeah, we'll see you in a second. Then, again, second try. Some connection issues today, but we are in the first match of the finals. TCG Slayer versus jagdtiger, with TCG Slayer playing Green Vikings on the bottom left side against the White Romans by jagdtiger on the top right side. Now, I did not pay attention. Do you know who did their initial first pick and who picked second?
I don't know. I have not.
Then I will check that real quick, because I am curious.
You are looking at jagdtiger, so I will talk about him and the map a bit. What we see is quite a nice forest. It's like in the middle of the two mountains, but everything's in the middle of the two mountains, so that was to be expected. I think it's the best forest you could hope for. There's a second forest directly beneath it, and the second forest does not have as many trees, so it would be nicer to place more buildings in it, while the first one is quite full, which is quite nice for Viking, because they will get some more wood income at first. The way to the enemy is like quite a long way, but you will be building to the front, because there's mountain there, and you can't just rely on the mountain on the back. So we will be seeing both people expanding to the front, and I expect also the barracks to be like somewhere where between the top mountains for both players and the bottom mountain to be more like a gold mountain after expanding, while the Roman will have more on the bottom mountain from mines because there's stone there, whereas the Viking will expand some more to the top. You have 4 stone fields, so this would also be a good Trojan map, not only a good Slayer does not need a screen, he's recording. He just wrote that. Yeah, that's what I would say about the map. I think it's very nice. You have much mountain, you have nice forests. You have some space to the top where you can build like a nice food economy, where you have some space to still build some heavy industry after your food economy. There are nice places for Roman mana. I think for both of them will be happy with.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think generally the map looks pretty good for all civilizations, and the only one that I feel like it kind of be turned away from is Mayans, because the desert looks so far away. They wouldn't pick it. The second caster's voice is so low. Thank you for mentioning that. I know why that is the case, and it should be fixed now. Still have the interview when I'm interviewing over, German interview, like translating over it. It's a setting there. A little bit unfortunate here for the beginning. Now thinking back on that, that might have even been on the whole pre-show, which is disgusting, and I probably have to like adjust the volume in the end a bit, but I can fix things in the after.
That's too bad.
Anyways, we are here. I agree, map looks pretty good. I think, by the way, that I think Slayer had the first pick here. From how I read that, isn't perfectly stated clearly that it is Slayer, but I think how it's read is that Slayer had the first pick here with Vikings, which, I mean, in the end, I feel like there's no real pick on this map where you really like... Nothing really looks bad on this map, especially after we load it in. And the only thing that I'm wondering why now Jagdtiger picked the Romans into the Vikings, because usually it's said that it's a counter, as Aex's Romans don't really have a good answer against Aex warriors.
Yes, it's true. Aex warriors do not have a good answer, and generally Vikings tend to perform better against races which do not have as many soldiers, because their mana is quite good in lower numbers, but freezing like level 2 soldiers is quite bad, for example.
True.
I don't know why. I think he has a game plan here, and I think his game plan will be to play for late game. I'm expecting him to have like a big economy with like at least 7 saws, maybe 8, and then play like a normal game from there. And with a lot of mana.
Seen Jagdtiger also have surprisingly strong PT counts with Romans as well. But I think the map generally also just feels a bit more late game orientated. You have quite a lot of mountain available to you towards the later parts of the game. Like right off early, kind of difficult. Your mountain is in all directions. Nothing is like right next to you. Like there's only one mountain that is like 1 tile away, like, and that mountain isn't really large. It's just 4 tiles, and then you have to go in completely different directions. Yeah. Will be interesting to see how they handle the mountain situation, and especially if they are actually both gonna go for late game, because I do think that Slayer's Vikings tend to also be more late game orientated. I rarely see PT Rush builds. With rarely, I mean never. I've never seen a PT Rush build by Slayer with Vikings, besides the time where Tempest Spam was a thing, because then he actually did PT Rush. But then he did PT Rushes with every civilization.
Shall I talk some about the building process of
let's
Slayer?
have a little look at that.
I had some analysis, and there's one thing I don't like actually that he has done. So like his start was quite clean. He built like the first tower to the left. He built to the top so that he could place 2 woodcutters and a forester there. That's quite a good thing to do. Because as soon as this wood is chopped there, the new trees will be able to grow, and he will have a steady income from both of his woodcutters. It's a very nice start. To the right, he did like the tower between the stonefield and the wood. He didn't have a choice there. And then from there on, he got his diggers to both sides, to the right and to the left. He did not place more buildings to the right. He had some diggers standing around there until his tower finished, the second one. That was a good choice, I think, and will in the end get him more digger time than sending them to the top, and will of course also have his woodcutters finish earlier. So then he expanded to the left and to the bottom, has 14 woodcutters placed already. So quite nice, with like 2 towers to the left, 2 towers to the right, and he also has some more space, so he will be able to place like 16 woodcutters before building another tower, and will have time to expand to the mountain. We have a double iron mine there. The only thing I did not like was the timing of not really the timing, the placement to the left of his woodcutters. It's a good build for like later in the game, but I would have liked to see him swap the forester with the woodcutter directly on top of it, like from the tower to the left. The 1-1-1 is quite nice, and then for the other I would have liked to see the forester at the outer side and the woodcutter on the inner side, because now his woodcutters have like really long ways. You see they are like hacking at trees that are even behind the forester, and having one of those woodcutters is kind of fine. The second one I don't like. So he had paused one of his sawmills, I think. Or maybe, no, he didn't pause it. He just did the start-stop trick, which is quite nice. Yeah. He does have a lot of logs, so he had a good start. It's also part of why such a forest is so nice, such a forest with so many trees in it. It's like really good for Vikings.
Okay, I just want to make sure you were talking about like the down from the starting tower, the second forester he built, that one should have been more outside, so that you have like one.
I would have swapped it. Yes, you showed it in the
screen. Yeah, because originally I didn't hear like what building type you were talking about, and you were talking about left. And I was like, you didn't really like the Iron and Toolsmith being so far left, because I felt like
no, they are.
You could have built it above the river. It's like it doesn't really matter. That's why I was a little bit confused about that at the beginning when you started talking. But yeah.
But if he swapped them, he would have more space to the bottom already, and could maybe place even like his 17th and 18th woodcutter without placing another tower. So he would have like all of his wood income secured, and could build the tower like after he finishes the wood income. So, but everything else is like stock standard. Like he had like 9 woodcutters into the the first small house. After the first medium house, builds the second stone cutter, before he finishes his toolsmith, which is like also stock standard, second middle house before fifth sawmill. Also quite stock standard. Fifth sawmill before toolsmith is also quite standard. He already is at the mountain. He does have the good iron mine. He will have a okayish coal mine, maybe even a good one to the top.
Yeah, I think
more to the snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It will be easily reached.
So he's doing a good job. He's finishing his toolsmith minute 11 and like a few seconds. He does probably do start stop any second now. Yes.
Let's have a look at jagdtiger again.
So, did you see that he even paused?
Yeah.
His
I know that
iron smelter.
Yeah,
so
Slayer
that
does like to do the play
faster.
where he stops the iron smelter before he starts the toolsmith, so that the coal is brought from the iron smelter to the toolsmith, and then he unpauses the iron smelter quick enough that it still has a bit of coal, so it doesn't stop working in between. I've adopted that as well myself. Yeah, very nice play, and does manage to get out his first tool very quickly that way usually.
His first tool should be, yes, it's for a digger.
Okay, interesting. Let's
he will
have
also
a look
do a second digger and will
at
probably build
jagdtiger,
his
though.
third stone cutter.
We haven't really looked at his build up at all yet, and from what I can see right now is that he has lots and lots of buildings already ready pre-digged. Like there's so much stuff he could build. I think none of the like actual large buildings. It's mostly, I think it's vineyards that he has like 4 of them already. Yeah, ready to be built.
Correct.
Which
and
is
some medium houses.
Yeah, and some medium houses, but
and some more stone income.
Yeah, it's a little interesting to me that he is already predict those. Mostly for the fact that means he will be building 4 vineyards before PT, because I'd be confused if you'd place them already there. You're not gonna plan on building them for PT. We're definitely gonna see some Roman manor here early on. And other than that, I mean, when I went over with the camera, the toolsmith was finished before Slayers, which is kind of expected. And that is nice to see. The mines are coming up. I think the coal mine might be... actually, no, the iron mine is already... since the iron smelter apparently was standing so early that it already ran out of iron fully. The coal should actually be fine. It's iron that is the real issue here.
So. He did not do start-stop, but...
Yeah.
That's also quite fine, because maybe he didn't want to pull his settlers from the bottom of the settlement to get those. What I don't like is his 4th sawmill is a bit late. It's don't get me wrong, he's quite fast. Everything is looking very, very good, but I think the 4th sawmill should be a bit earlier here. Else, everything is looking fine. He has a good start with his wood economy. He will have enough stone and has enough stone at the moment, so he will be going smoothly into his farms.
What I just noticed, which I like as a player quite a lot, especially on positions where you don't have plenty of space. I don't think you have space kept like crazy on this position. But it definitely isn't easy to play, considering that you have forests and stone fields in every single direction, but you could get rid of them, especially the starting stone field will be gone, and that is what we're seeing as well. He's utilizing already. He places his grain farms in a way where they would plant the grain straight into the stone field, but that stone will be gone by the point the grain farms will actually be sealing the grain. So that's a very nice like space optimization to like not use that much space specifically in front of the mountain, where you want to kind of keep your space available.
He might even play 8 sawmills, because he has already placed 19 woodcutters.
Ready?
Yes, he is not building all of them yet, He's oh sorry, one of them is a hunter, so it's like 18. So like it's not indicating that he's playing 8 sawmills. It's like normal play, I would say.
Yeah, 8 on 7 sounds pretty normal.
And he is also building some on the top to get rid of the forest to the top, because he wants to build heavy industry
space
there.
He has played quite a lot of Trojans.
Also quite likes it.
Yeah.
Alex is not doing that. He's getting rid of the forest to the bottom, which is also fine, but he will not utilize that space for heavy industry, probably. He's building his food economy to the bottom, and then he will be building his heavy industry more to the top.
The interesting thing about like getting rid of forests is that I feel like you like if he builds his food, which looks like towards the forest, he is trying to also remove, then the forest will be gone by the time you're done with building your food. That is usually the kind of thing that I at least run into an issue with when I'm getting like have a forest in an area that I want to build in early, because if I put my lumberjacks to a completely different forest, like in the north, and I want to place heavy industry later there, then most of the forest will actually be gone when I want to place my heavy industry. So I will actually be able to use the space relatively, like, quote unquote early. While with like the food eco, you usually have all your buildings placed before the lumberjack really got rid of any significant amount of trees. So yeah, I'm interested if he's like gonna place a few more lumberjacks, because I feel like that's usually the answer to that. Like if you like build your food eco and you have a forest in your way there, you want to get rid of the forest quickly, just literally put 4 lumberjacks on it and the forest will be gone quickly. That will actually work out.
I don't expect that from any of the 2 people, and I'm sometimes doing it if the situation is very extreme.
Yes,
but I wouldn't
recommend it either. It's something very extreme, in a very extreme situation you want to do this, and I don't think this is the kind of case where that's the normal game plan. Like putting 2 lumberjacks here on the forest sounds reasonable. That's usually what I like to do, putting 2 on 1 forest to get rid of it in a little bit quicker of a way, if I don't really care when it's gone. If it's like I want it to be gone like after peacetime sometimes, then it's only 1 lumberjack. Yeah.
We see some very interesting plays from Jagdtiger, which we should talk about.
Oh, okay. See some vineyards being built already.
Yes, we see 4 vineyards being built and only 1 farm yet.
That's indeed.
So he is focusing on wine before he's focusing on his food.
Yeah, and another interesting part about that is
not like him.
I feel like he's not gonna build the small temples soon, because he does already have a storage ready, and I feel like that's the classic, I'm gonna store up some wine. At least I'm expecting him to kind of like probably place the grain farm, like build most of the grain farms first, at least like 5 or something like that. Because he is at least digging the small temples here close to the mountain. At least 2 of them. But that is indeed a very interesting play that will result in lots of mana, which is kind of the opposite thing of what we saw in the statistics. Usually Slayer was the person with more mana at peacetime. And this will result in lots of mana if he's able to actually, keep them running the entire time, and also not just keep them running and store them away, but actually use the wine in the small temples to actually produce mana.
We might see a no meat build from him. He only has 5 farms, and he's placing 2 mills, and we don't see any pre-shoveled meat production, which should be pre-shoveled by now, and he's pre-shoveling bakeries already and not pre-shoveling any meat production. So I strongly expect him to not build any meat at the start with the double iron mine and the many forests which you can hunt from. We will be seeing some more fishers, or a few more fishers than normally. He will build like a small heavy industry and then go into maximum amount of mana. I think this build excels at peacetime and excels at like 1 minute, at minute 105 to 110 even, but later on will be a tad bit weaker because mana tends to like drop in value. Not as fast for Romans, so it's like you can do that very well with Romans, but I think maybe he will then add some more meat production and we will like see maybe 5 weaponsmiths from him, but probably I expect to see like 4 weaponsmiths from him.
That is a very exciting build.
Yes.
We see how it turns out. It's definitely something that isn't easy to play. I'm relying mostly on hunted meat and less on your own produced meat. It's not easy to play with, but if you execute it well, hunters are incredibly strong and you can get lots of meat out of them. The amount of meats you'd need for your normal PT time. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to keep an eye out for that and yeah, see what he manages to do with it.
You wanted to have clips about splitting your diggers. You might look into Alex's settlement, and we might talk about his what he did with his diggers.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very nice what he did. So what he did was he placed his forest and had a focus on his forest, then placed some grain farms near his forest and also his mana production near the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not place that many stone cutters, because stone cutters are quite a building which does not involve much building materials to be built, but also needs quite a lot of diggers, because they are quite large for a stone cutter in comparison to the other races. So what he did was, he then after that split his diggers into 2 groups. One of the groups finished the mana industry buildings on the bottom, the 2 small temples, and then went to the big temple. And now they are going to dig more stone, which he needs to do because he only started with 3 stone cutters.
Yeah, currently only has 5.
Got into his farms, then added a 4th one while building the 1st farm and the 5th one very soon after. And is now adding a rapid amount of stone cutters to get his stone count up to then build a storage and store the stone. He will have one moment where he does have not enough stones to continue building his food economy and his mana economy.
Yeah.
Like the buildings after the initial pre-projection buildings cost more stone than normal Viking buildings. So during that time he would have the stone shortage, but he doesn't, because in that time he's building his gold mines. So it's like a very optimized build path, and if you execute it very well, that's, I think, the best thing you can do as a Viking.
It looks definitely very skilled.
Now he failed because he missed to continue his digger split.
Yeah.
His diggers from the stone cutters are now going to the top. So that's like the first digging mistake he did. He should have placed at least 1 more stone cutter to the bottom, and maybe even a fisher to the bottom while he had his diggers there.
He overplaced a few buildings to the left.
To the left, there are many hills. That's why he probably lost a lot of diggers to that side.
Yeah.
He still has some diggers on the right side building the tower, so he might be able to continue building stone. As I say it, they are leaving. So that's like the first digging phase from Alex, and we should take note if that costs him.
I think it's relatively calculated, because it's like an active decision of him to place that many buildings on the left, because he didn't have any digger standing to the left anymore, but already pre-placed more buildings. But yeah, it's very interesting. I did see it like in the early game already. Once you were saying like he had his diggers on the right, waiting with the forest, but was digging like houses, sawmills, river stuff on the left. Like in the early game already, he had like diggers in 3 different places of his settlement, and some of them waiting for their next job, kind of thing. And maybe we'll see if we can catch some more of these kind of situations towards further into the game. But right now, as you said, he's building the gold mines, building the stone cutters. Now the stone income should be good enough again to actually keep building. And I think
it's already costing him. He has a lot of wood which he's not using. He does not have his second building from the mana industry digged yet, but he's placing 3 of those, and he's building the small temples like very early, which is good because they are slower. But of course they will have some time where they are not working, so it's not perfectly optimized.
Yeah. We're seeing right now that like we have lots of honey produced, grain produced. We have the mills ready, no bakeries. We have and like the
bakeries
mana
are quite small, so it's okay to not place them as fast.
Yeah, I mean we have one building. I'm just more talking about like even though the wood, as you said, is like kind of overflowing a bit, or like he has plenty of it available. We can generally see that even though like he's also just lacking buildings that he would have wanted to put in that wood already.
I think stone cutters would be a good choice, but I mean they are not good for digging. But with sending his diggers from the left to the right, he lost some digging time, and that's where
definitely getting a few more diggers.
The situation is under control again, and he has placed some more buildings which he is not building yet, which are pre-shoveled, like the big temple, for example.
Okay, I just looked at the mountain. You might not even want to play that much stone to iron. Like, sure, you probably want your first storage, but I just think there are actually plenty of good iron mines on that mountain.
I see 3 double. No,
we
2
have
double.
The starting, then we have one to the south that he's about to conquer, and on the back side you have this one that's a little bit into that coal, which is double, and at the like.
To the south? Where's the double one there? Ah, yeah, okay, I see the one with the gold.
Yeah, like
in
it
between
ends.
The second mine, right? Yeah.
It ends in the gold,
and to the bottom you have
in
another
between
one.
coal, and I think at the very top you can kind of place that a bit better. Like it's gonna work better than a normal iron mine. Below the coal field will probably work better than a normal iron mine. Those aren't gonna be like your iron mines that work like 2 iron mines, but they should be able to at least be a little better. I feel like it's very efficient, and that makes me think about jagdtiger's play as well, where I feel like that really plays in his hands. And I want to quickly check up again.
Yes.
Did he actually... No. We see an animal ranch on the right side. I think he was just prioritizing bread over meat. Yeah, I think that is just how he played that.
Are we seeing more farms? Because he only has 5 farms, right?
I think I see 6 farms. And I see a 7th being... No, that's a large house?
Ah, the one in the forest. That's the one I missed. I think we are seeing 6 with delayed of... but I don't think... If he's seeing that he has so many double iron mines, like if you see the 3 double iron mines, I wouldn't build more than 6 farms and leave out the second meat production bed.
I think that would sound like a pretty good plan. You're building 1 animal ranch. I mean, I've heard that if you want to have your PT records, you likely just don't play animal ranches because you just play only.
Or at most 1, yes. Because with none you won't have PT records as Roman.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know. I've only heard that animal ranches are definitely not the thing you want to be building if you want a PT record. You want to have maximum amount of double iron mines and maximum amount of hunters that are running good, so that you don't really have to build a proper meat production.
Both of them are playing quite safe. What do I mean with playing safe? They are not adding their 7s respectively 9 sawmill early.
Slayer already on 8? I think the last time I checked, I only saw 7, but
yes.
yeah, he's on 8.
No, he does have 8. He built 8 before he built his first farm. Like, that's
okay,
normal
so yeah, then I just completely missed the 8th one there.
If you want to be greedy and you think you're good at shuffling, you can build a 9th one before finishing your food economy. So like after you build your first bakery or something, you can add the 9th one. But it will be quite hard to have your diggers actually dig enough so you can build that. What we are seeing from him is a second double iron mine. He's building that quite early, so yeah. I expect him to use his priest. The second priest spawning will immediately cast like some deers to that hunter.
Where is the hunter of him?
Just above the big temple. For Alex, and for jagdtiger it's to the right. He didn't have a hunter in his starting forest.
Yeah, with... I also want to, like, you said safe, and I feel like they play safe on the side of not overbuilding their economy. But the settlers, I've seen plenty of times for both players where it looks rather thin. Right now, again, it's kind of like going up for both players again, but like right before this moment, it was really close for both players that they weren't in a settlers shortage.
Yeah, but for Alex, it was quite calculated. You could see that he was building like blocks of houses.
Yeah. Built, like... I'm not saying that it's that they were like I just wanted to mention that because it's good. Like they are both playing relatively close to the settlers limit, essentially, of like how little settlers you can have. And that's something that most people try to do and they just fail. And are in a settlers shortage and then lose their game. And for both players, like with jagdtiger, I'm pretty sure that large house to the right was producing lots of settlers and he had like lots of stuff finishing up. That's the kind of reason why now there's so many standing around before that, but when like the bakeries finished up and stuff, it was rather thin again, especially with gold mines, he's storing lots of stuff away. But like once his large houses to the right will finish, he can go into heavy industry.
And we will probably also see some godly gifts right about now.
Yeah, true.
Another good one, another okay-ish. Well, the second one was good. But the first one wasn't that good.
Wasn't the first one the one with the hammer?
He did at his 7th sawmill. We just overlooked it. It's below the temple and it's been working for quite some time there.
Yeah. He now has lots of wood. He can place every single gold mine he can ever find.
Yeah, but I mean,
he does have stone overflowing a bit as well, and I mean his diggers seem. I think the diggers aren't quite able to actually manage to use all that wood right now.
Yeah, he just built some mines and be happy.
Yeah, he will just build mines, but. He has to make sure he doesn't fall into the trap of making too many pickaxes just because he's more mines than usual.
He got some hammers, so he can afford to make more pickaxes than normal. Normally you would like to add some more hammers right about that time. He does still have... Or he has a low number of geologists, actually. He only has like 6 of them. Oh no, sorry. 8, 9. Okay, not so low.
I mean, 8, 9 sounds pretty normal. At this point of the game, at least. People tend to start out with a few more.
Alex is down to 9 also. He started with 12. I don't know for jagdtiger.
Wasn't paying attention to that fact too close.
And he finished his 9th sawmill also. So for both of them, like a normal timing.
I mean, I just mentioned the settlers topic a second ago, but like Slayer settlement right now, we see so few settlers standing. They are standing, and but it's few. It's nice. I like it.
But he doesn't build any buildings that use settlers at the moment.
Right.
He's building settlers and only after that he will be buildings that actually
Exactly,
use
and I mean we're
settlers.
starting to
So
already
he
see again
is-
that settlers are now filling up more again. Like I saw a moment where there were very little, but now we already see like close to the barracks there what it seems to be, and we see quite a good chunk now standing again. And I mean we have a large house about to finish, a medium house right next to it.
We have a small house, a medium house about to finish.
Exactly,
and that
down
will be
below.
enough.
And he did build the 9th sawmill now.
Yes, and he also is building a lot of heavy industry. I think he might get into a shortage of settlers.
I feel like that depends a bit on if the large house is able to finish.
The second large house is able to finish. The first one is, I think, is not so important, but if the second
Does
one
he have
finishes,
a second one already building somewhere?
Yes, left to the first one. It's already finished on the first 8 wood, and now they are building in the stones. And the first one is actually finishing.
Wow.
That's what I thought.
Nice.
I think the first one finishing was the prompt for him to start building his heavy industry.
Yeah, I feel like the second one should finish as well, because it is relatively close to the stone.
Yes.
And that is usually the thing that keeps you from finishing your large houses.
Not for Viking.
I mean,
for Viking, it's normally the wood, and it's better to have it near your sawmills. That's a bit different.
I'm a little bit surprised
enclosure.
because you still like, yeah, sure, you only need to get 2 stone in after your initial 8. I would have still thought that, I mean, if your large house is far away from your stone cutters, then the stone will probably also be an issue, then probably just both are the issue.
But you have a good chance that you don't have some of your settlers from like left going to the right, because your settlers are on the right and your stone is to the right, and your stone storage is also quite near, so everywhere the stone could come from, the settler goes like right from your house to the stone and back, so it should be fine. And it's finishing before the second weaponsmith even.
It's missing something. Yeah, missed a stone, as I said.
Yeah, but the stone arrived.
Doesn't matter.
But of course, yeah, the builders.
The builders ran away though,
but
which
they're just going
is
to
a little
the
bit of a
left,
bummer.
so.
But I think he has enough settlers that will be able to catch the heavy industry finishing up, catch the initial load of ores. Speaking of ores, you see gold ore pre-stored, but I think there's a coal shortage. He cannot run all of the heavy industries building.
He can. He has 6 coal mines. That's enough.
Okay, sure. I guess. I mean, he just doesn't have coal pre-stored, which is like the main reason why
You don't need.
say that.
You don't need it as Viking. I think it's actively bad to have it pre-stored, because then you spend your wood and your tools on something you didn't need, and so you had 1 digger less, and you also had like not finishing your mana industry earlier or your big house earlier, and that's like a very good play. I would actually encourage people to not place too many coal mines as Viking, but play not really safe at the start.
I want to mention that we see 2 toolsmiths from Slayer. I don't know if you've seen that before, but I just noticed that there was a second toolsmith added above the river.
And we will probably see 10th sawmill soon.
Yeah, I mean, if you go...
Even so, he's building 2 toolsmiths. He has 4 weaponsmiths finished at minute 38, and 1 was running at minute like 35 even.
Yeah, I mean, you say running, but like right now it's idling.
Yeah, but right now his priest is not there yet, because his temple is quite far away from his stone storage.
Yeah.
I actually don't see the old man. Where is he moving?
He'll be
He's
somewhere.
not standing at the temple.
Ah, he's above the sawmills. He just casted.
Ah, okay, nice. So it's fine. He's doing start-stop, and he's... Yeah, it's fine. It's so near.
And a gift. Some pickaxes, some hammers.
That gift was really godly. The first one. The second one was okayish, having some
He just used the stone immediately to make more iron.
Yeah, that's a good play. we saw only 2 godly gifts, I think.
Yep. Right. I only saw 2.
Normally, he's want to cast 2 to 3. If he's building 2 toolsmiths, he's oftentimes only casting 2, I think.
Yeah.
I am personally casting 3 to 4 normally as Viking. But
yeah,
it's costing you like 1 spell.
I think it's something that most people just kind of differ on. Like, I personally like to not use gifts. I basically only use them when I have to use them. When I'm like, I need tools. But yeah, I think they never actually, like, they never hurt you, of course. At least not in your build-up. They might hurt you if you never used it whatsoever, and you now just are standing in the combat with less mana, but it's relatively rare case. They never really are just bad usage of mana. Still, I'm just never liking the fact that I don't know what I'm actually getting.
This is only on 13 stonecutters, so he is not planning to get more than his first 5 buildings here running on stone to iron, and he will be adding some iron smelters very soonish. He does have problems using up all his wood income with only, okay, he also already built the 10th sawmill, but he is not using his wood at the moment, which is not good. So he has lost some time here in favor of building his houses by the stone, which I don't think was a good choice. The second one to the bottom should have been more to the top mountain, so you could place like some gold smelters to the top mountain.
I think this is also the moment where you can see that I feel like it would have been nice to have your foresters or lumberjacks here up and running early at the top to get rid of more of the forest in this area. Now,
but if you
it would have kind of delayed you because you would have needed to get the land earlier. So it's a toss-up if it like really would have helped or not. But it's just like something that at least I prefer to have. Make sure that I have space in the areas I'll get to later down the line. We can already see a bit of a hunter battery being built. Not being built, it is finished, and there was the first spell as well on the bottom left side next to the mountain.
So my prediction for Alex is he will have like 240 to 280 troops here at peacetime, if everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, and let's have a look at jagdtiger again. We see that he added a few hunters, or at least I see that right now. I know he has already barracks standing, and also now 5 weaponsmiths, which I know a few of them have been running already. Some just finished up. As he already has produced soldiers. Of course, he must have produced some weapons already. Yeah, that overall looks pretty nice and clean as well. And yeah, I think with the extra hunters he's added, it should be like the meat should be able to run fine as well. Although it looks very thin right now. But iron ore is available at plenty of thin storages, so yeah, it's fine.
What are the numbers to the right of the mana count in the overlay? Is it small temples? Because that can't be because Alex... okay, I see.
That's why there's a priest.
Yeah, that was a requested feature, I recall it, yeah.
Wanted to know how many priests there are out on the field.
So, looking at materials used, Alex is having a lot of wood at the moment. He's at 81 wood at the moment. And that's coming from him not being able to use all of his wood, and it's only now being transported and not inside of his buildings yet. So he had a small delay there. And I think that delay is like the difference between like his 260 and his 300 round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
He does have more weapon income than jagdtiger does, but he does not have as much combat mana being built. So production-wise, they are quite even, with Jagdtiger like slightly on the top if you factor in the mana.
Jagdtiger has
or even not slightly. He's on the top.
Jagdtiger has already placed a 6th vineyard.
And a 6th small temple.
Quite a bit of mana production. Yeah,
and I
also just
see
checked
like
out
7th and 8th vineyard.
Just checked out a bit the siege situation, as we can now swap the player perspectives with the overlay we have, and Jagdtiger is already scouting inside Slayer's land a bit. More on the backside, we sadly can't see the exact path they took. That is unfortunately not possible, but we at least see that the Jagdtiger was scouting, and I mean still has sieves behind / on the backside of the settlement of Slayer. Nothing close to the barracks, but we'll see if he gets one there later down the line, while Slayer is only really just covering straight the PT wall, seeing if anything happens there. Although I assume nothing crazy gonna happen there for a little bit longer. As we say, 15 minutes till peacetime, plenty of time to produce soldiers and mana that will...
Swordsman from Jagdtiger? Only swordsman?
So far only swordsman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we will be seeing swordsman with converts, I think.
Yeah. Swordsman with converts and probably also some shields, because shields are very effective on swordsman.
Not against Vikings. Against Vikings, your shields are much worse than his... what is it? This Viking spell called in English?
You mean Freeze, Fear, or Blood Rush?
Blood Rush.
Blood Rush.
Okay.
Yeah, but it depends kind of on the exact matchup of units you're fighting against. If Slayer scouts, which so far he hasn't really been doing, and makes Axe Warriors, and then uses Blood Rush on the Axes, yes, of course, you want to get rid of them with the convert instead of just fighting them straight on with shields. But against bowmen, having a few shields on your swords will decrease the amount of damage you take by a very significant amount. You kind of have to make sure that if you're fighting an enemy building...
50-50 from Alex.
50-50?
50% both, 50% X.
Yeah. I'm not too shabby of a play, at least for the beginning. I don't think you should necessarily stay that way for the entire game, but...
If you play against swordsmen, yes, you should.
Yeah, but...
It's like the perfect combination against swordsmen that are attacking you.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. I wanted to also mention that if you fight against only bowmen, you really have to be aware of where to take your fight, because if you take a fight in enemy houses and your first few swordsmen are frozen, then none of your swordsmen are gonna fight. And in that case, a convert is also 10 times better than a shield.
Yeah, of course. So Alex is building up his settler situation quite a lot. He's built quite a lot of big houses and is only now adding his 5th weaponsmith and so on. And he, of course, built some iron smelters. So at the moment, with his 5 weaponsmiths and his big mana production, I think Jagdtiger is in favor. I did not see the 7th farm from him.
Yes.
I think we are only seeing 6 with like 1 dedicated to meat and the other to the...
we only see 1 animal ranch as well. It's 1 animal ranch. I'm now seeing 4 hunters. No, I see 5
I'm
hunters.
seeing 5.
Yeah, he's focusing quite a lot of the meat production via hunters. And I don't think he's putting fish on iron at all. And he still has iron ore stored up in storages, as he has gold and coal. Definitely can build a bit more heavy industry. I think he right now is...
But he used this time to build some more mana, because why not?
Yeah. Why not? It is quite
He will be maxing out his food at PT or slightly after, so he won't have like any disadvantage for his... Just threw away my glass, but he was empty, luckily. So he won't have a disadvantage for the fight. He will be using all of his food, and he will also have like a power spike, which some other players might not expect, because normally you would build all of your heavy industry, then normally most people overbuild the heavy industry for the food economy they have, and then they need to build like more food, and this food production does not fight at that moment. So if you not time it like perfectly, so that you are like on the absolute edge for your food, you will have some buildings not running properly, and for him, his mana, is there, it will be running, it will be working, it will be at the fight. Even so, some troops that might be produced might not be at the fight because they are too far away at the start. So adding more troops later on is not aiding you in the first fight normally.
Yep. I'm gonna quickly check again if the siege situation has changed, as we are approaching ET and scouting information can be really relevant. I'm pretty sure the siege of jagdtiger didn't move whatsoever. Seems like both of them are right now still focusing more on their settlements.
Alex has like, at minute 15 he had like a bit more than 100 soldiers, with 2 toolsmiths and 11 sawmills. That's quite impressive, and he's also again using all of his building materials now. That short hiccup there at the start was not permanent, was not long, and he's just using all of his wood. He has many settlers, so he's not in any danger of getting a lack of settlers, and he is at 7 weaponsmiths already.
Yep.
With 6 iron smelters. So he is still relying on some sort of stone to iron, but not much, and he doesn't need to add more stone cutters yet. What he should actually do is build a tower behind his mountain, so his 2 stone cutters there don't run dry.
Behind the mountain? Oh yeah, that would be...
There's also a sieve from jagdtiger.
Yeah. We have 1 sieve there, 1 sieve in the forest in the starting forest Slayer. Those are the 2 sieves that actually provide scouting information. They aren't actively moving around, they've been standing there for a bit now.
But they both have some sieves, and Alex has already also put sieves like on the bottom.
Yeah, Slayer has put like
not
a
on the
line,
top as much, but on the bottom.
Has put a line of sieves along the thingamajig. What's called PT War?
Yeah, it's a thing of magic. It's like lightning.
Yeah.
163 mana for jagdtiger already. That's
lots of mana.
Impressive.
Still rising. I think we're gonna reach around 200. Maybe not quite. But around that number, I feel like is what we're gonna see. I want to quickly mention, I feel like the only issue Slayer might run into in this game is his... he is already at 50 diggers as well. I still think 50 diggers for 11 sawmills doesn't sound that much, considering how you don't have lots of space to build in the settlement here. You really are in this situation now where you have lots of forests around you, lots of stone still that, like, as Vikings, you just don't get rid of that quickly. And he did decide to play early mead, which I can really understand on this map. You have good iron mines, you have lots of forests to use, lots of hunters. I don't think he's doing that actively, to be fair. Has he actually added any more hunters outside of the hunter battery? Yes, 1 to the top north.
Yes, but he can't be building like hunters to all sides at this moment because of his 50 diggers. So
yeah,
with only 50 diggers and 11 sawmills, what he should be doing is rebuilding houses to the maximum.
Yeah, constantly.
That's what he's doing. And also, he's still building mines. So that's what's like carrying his wood.
Yeah.
Not income, but his like usage. Of wood. And he will soon be building more food, which is quite nice for wood consumption because grain farms are like small but costly.
Yeah.
In wood.
I'd also like to see, I mean, that's just a personal thing I like to always see, a war machine that would also use up some wood.
We will be seeing some sort of war machines or ships with 11 farm builds, with 11 sawmill builds.
Yeah.
That's why he is actually doing those builds, to have the wood income to then build some ferries after he's not actively engaging in his settlement that much anymore because he's fighting and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. I really like that kind of approach as well. Like you're like, I just went like a sawmill too many for what I can actually use, or like you use it for like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, but then you can't use it anymore. It doesn't really matter too much if you can still use it later down the line. We are making war machines, warships. Especially if you have like a proper water fight, you will be constantly producing warships, and that is so costly in terms of wood. Yeah, I've killed rounds of myself where I just spent so much wood on warships that I just didn't have any wood anymore to actually build buildings, because I wasn't really aware of the fact that I just straight up have to add sawmills. Like you just, like it's an actual building that is producing something for you, that is actually fighting, and not just there for building more buildings.
You can see some diggers standing around at Alex's settlement, and normally people that are not that experienced will be getting into a panic mode now. I have 11 sawmills, I need to have my diggers running all the time.
And then they place stuff all over the place, and the diggers are, as you said, they are running, not working.
Yes, exactly. So, quite impressive. Alex is like maxed off, has his heavy industry nearly maxed out. He's maybe missing like one additional iron smelter, and he might be building a 9th weaponsmith.
He has 9 weaponsmiths already.
Ready?
Yes, he has the 5 to the right, and then he has 3 above the mound and 1 in the bottom left corner then.
Oh yeah, that's the one I missed. So it's minute 56. He has 9 weaponsmiths running. He nearly has the gold production for that, and is like only adding 1 or 2 more gold smelters to be finished with his heavy industry.
Yeah, still has a bit of gold.
He has added a 5th farm. He has already added his 4th small temple, which most people do not get to do up until after peacetime.
Yeah. He's also already transformed fully into like
yes.
What am I talking?
And he's also building additional grain farms, and has 7 standing at the moment. 2 of them are not working yet, but will start working very soon. He has also overtaken Jagdtiger in materials built with his 11 farms. And Jagdtiger is not using all of his wood at the moment cleanly. So he will get a better boost on him even.
Yeah. But I think so far Jagdtiger's game looks really good as well. Yeah, we see, oh my goodness, I underestimated how much mana he built, because he's already well above 200 mana, still a few more minutes to go to peacetime. And soldier-wise, he's like 20 behind. Like, who cares about 20 soldiers behind if you have 150 more mana?
He does have 6 small temples.
Yeah.
So he's like
crazy
producing,
mana.
what is one of them producing, like 2 point something mana
I have
per
0 clue.
minute?
I just know it's crazy.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah. I also want to mention that Jagdtiger has actually it kind of done what he did in many of the other games we played in the tournament so far. Made a few swords. He didn't commit fully to them, and instead now is making mostly bowmen. And the swords he did make with a priest went up to the north, and some of the swordsmen already are scattering to maybe catch some thieves. And there I want to go check out the perspective again. Maybe he scouted them even. I mean, he has a few thieves up front, trying to maybe scout stuff. He has moved his thief from the forest in a way where it sees the 4 weaponsmiths and the starting tower, and it's like, yeah, he sees the edge of the barracks, seeing that a few X-Warriors are being made right now. Yeah, that thief is in a really nice position. The other one's still behind the mountain.
Can you check Alex's perspective? Does he?
Yes. Well,
okay, no, he does not see the swordsman on top. He only saw the one swordsman. So that's what Jagdtiger is doing best. He's placing swordsmen in front of his swordsman's army and killing all of the thieves of Alex. So he's clueless about the whole army being up there. And then he's showing some army to the bottom, like his bowmen, which will be running into Alex and might be baiting him. But I don't think Alex will be baited, because what he is doing, he's building on full economy mode. He is adding all of his farms. He will be adding more mana now.
Player is going full late game. Absolute full late game mode.
And so he is in no need to just move out of his land. So what Jagdtiger should do is he should at least build up to 132, even more fighting strength, even might be going to 144 and then fight in Alex's land if he
Remember when we were talking about a 50-50? That does not look like a 50-50 to me anymore. That's like 90% X-Warriors.
Yes. He like used some of them to get into the towers, and then he stopped building bows like entirely.
Yeah, he doesn't make bows anymore. I think he started making a few swordsmen. Actually, he did make a few, like a few bowmen running out of the barracks right now again. Not too sure. Maybe he did like have a thief at some point. Scout that. Yeah, I mean right now he sees that there are bowmen. I just saw that a thief died of Slayer going into bowman army.
Yes, if Alex manages to not get coal capped here, I'm very impressed. I think he will have a shortage of coal
after PT
in just a few seconds.
So I want to quickly go over the numbers at least a little bit. We have around we had around 280 and 260 soldiers, like 280 for Slayer and 260 for Jagdtiger. Both of them only tier 3, but Jagdtiger has like 240 mana against probably 70-ish around that Slayer had at that moment, which is a ginormous difference. Like 170 mana, that's way more value than 20 soldiers. Combat power is extremely equal, mostly because apparently Jagdtiger must be building a beautification set somewhere. Like he has less resource. Wait, no, he has more resources used now? Yeah.
They're quite even here.
Yeah, I was like thinking, like I was remembering back that Slayer had more resources used and was thinking that he continued to keep up that trend. He didn't actually. It's incredibly even, and that's why they are so close in combat power.
He crushed more houses.
That's
what he did.
Yeah, he's rebuilding lots of them.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really increase the resources used.
Max, and that's why he's lost some building materials. His 11 sawmills aren't all running. He has a shortage of logs, so he like capped his wood production and wood usage up until to peacetime, and now he's not catching up with like logs because he did not rebuild many of his woodcutters that are cutting some of the forests the outside forests, and
the starting forest.
Some of his wood income it's not running as smoothly.
Most of it is still fine, but especially the ones that are like really close to the starting tower, those are struggling to work efficiently by now. And we see
Banzai, so they are both fine.
Yeah, we see Jagdtiger now do the classic move and is scattering swordsmen around Slayer's settlement, taking a tiny bit of a nice fight here. Swordsman killing some X-Warriors, and yes, that ping, I did see that already. We see a vehicle manufacturing being already finished, and as the ammunition as well. only thing that is currently missing is the worker for it. So we're gonna see a war machine being produced somewhat soon, and I feel like that's probably around the timing when he's gonna go forward, and it's like wanting to take a fight with the mana, with the good amount of soldiers he has, and shoot away at some of the buildings. Although I feel like with 11 sawmills, you usually don't care too much about losing a few buildings, and I feel like the war machine will mostly be able to help in a combat situation to make the line, like the combat line, better, and less actual damage, because for that it's just too costly, the ammunition. Too much work, too much micro.
Alex is just... He shows why he is the world champion. His coal situation is actually stable.
Yeah. You ain't wrong. Yeah, no bread at any of them. Actually, I see a mine right now. A little bit of lag here.
For me it's Tiger.
Yes, same thing for me.
But right after the...
Yeah, I think the save went through. It's 3 seconds after the save. It should have went through.
Okay, fine.
Oh, we see that a ping happened.
Ah,
maybe the ping was the reason for the disconnect, as that is kind of a thing that has happened in the recent past. Yes. And what the ping shows us is also very interesting.
Tower outside of his land.
Yeah.
That's a very good play. Nice one. I like it.
Yeah.
And actually, the tower on the outside already had the material it needed. It had like a digger, I think there was a geologist, and it had like enough wood and stone actually. So Alex showing us how it can be done, not like Yannick. And then Lemon, sorry, not Yannick. Yannick wasn't trying to do it yet, but Lemon was trying to do it. And he failed miserably.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Don't get me wrong, it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Settlers 4 is overall, I'd say, especially playing like HGHG, ET60, economy gets so large, like just building up the economy gets really difficult. Okay. Yeah, we didn't lose any time.
What we're seeing is a very high level game we did want to see, and I'm very hyped to see what will be happening in the fights.
Yes.
I think fighting strength wise, jagdtiger is on top, which is expected with all the mana he was building. But Alex will be catching up rapidly because he's just producing more weapons.
Mm-hmm. He's indeed just producing more weapons, and
has the same amount of weaponsmith like as jagdtiger does.
Yeah, jagdtiger doesn't want to, at least, fall behind too much. As we can see, he did now actually add grain farms himself as well. He even adds an animal ranch. He still has iron ore. He is now like the coal you were talking about that Slayer managed to handle perfectly. For jagdtiger, it looks a little bit thin, but right now still everything running. Doesn't look as nice with the coal as it is.
He has four mills already, and all of them are. 3 of them are working. The 4th one will be working quite soonish.
And I mean, so he has already new grain farms that are working, that have already gathered the first bits of grain, and more bakeries. Like, yeah, bread will be fine. It's thin right now, but it's nothing that will stay that way.
Does he have enough iron smelters, actually? Oh yeah, he does. I missed some. Did he pause one of his foresters? Like the forester that's below the main forest, where he had like 3 woodcutters and 1 forester. The forester is not producing anything, and there is space for him to produce. So either he managed to put the working area to somewhere...
we can see the flag, it's paused. The woodcutter next to us is also paused, and only 2 of them aren't.
only the one to the top is actually working. So he should probably crush them and rebuild them somewhere, because he doesn't need that space actually. So he might as well let them work, but he doesn't have a shortage of logs.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's surprising that he's staying even in resources, even so Alex is having like 11 sawmills, which are not all running at the moment. But
might actually see if
in my feeling he's building more.
There's larger fight happen here in the middle right now. So far there aren't enough bowmen of Jagdtiger to win against the X-Warriors, and now Slayer is pulling back. He did see it. Right now I just checked the player's vision again, and we see lots of things happening all around the map. Jagdtiger moving with swords in many places. X-Warriors in some directions, like we saw the unit that went forward there against the bowman. There's one to the north, there's one to the northwest. And there is obviously the main bulk of his army just still staying behind a bit.
We have some access from Alex inside of Jagdtiger's land, which are not moving, so he's also doing some kind of pressure, not much, but he might be able to smite like the...
I didn't see that, yeah.
He might be able to smite as to snipe the war machine if he's spotted that there will be a war machine.
Big target.
If I was him, I would try to place like one X-Men right around there, hidden between some buildings, maybe between the bakery and the
ammunition maker.
Yeah, the ammunition maker, and then you might be able to snipe the war machine with the usage of like 1x, which would be a very good investment.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, they're kind of moving around, checking out where are the enemy soldiers a bit here in the middle, while moving around randomly on the outside. I mean, both of them are just... Yeah, at the bottom right now, Slayer is committing quite a lot of X-Warriors against quite a few swordsmen. In other places, I think it's always relatively equal amounts that are committed.
But you see some swordsmen running away there also, so it's not a huge overcommitment.
Yeah, I also just saw that.
But I think it is an overcommitment, especially with the ones standing inside of the forest of Jagdtiger, inside of Jagdtiger's land, which are not moving. And I think Alex is being confident here, because he thinks his numbers are good. But I think he's being overconfident here, and Jagdtiger's numbers are
I think so too. I think he doesn't play the vision game good enough, but still tries to kind of like run run after Jagdtiger. And now I think we're gonna see very good because Jagdtiger cannot get out of that situation there anymore. X-Warriors are
Jagdtiger also
faster.
Has like 70 soldiers not inside of the battle, to the right and to the bottom.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. And yeah, freezes are coming in. We see some converts coming in. Combat power 119 is there. I have zero clue what X-Warriors need.
We don't see Blood Rush yet. That's,
now we see a Blood Rush.
Against the shields, very
shields,
nice.
And now we see in the same area a few converts. We see fears. There were freezes already. And this is the kind of fight I showed you in one of the clips. We see lots of Blood Rush, lots of freeze, lots of fear against a mainly bowman army, but this time on a truly open field. Another priest coming in from the bottom, converting more X-Warriors into swords, and now the reinforcements are coming in from both players. Another Blood Rush. Holy... this fight is really close. I think right now Slayer has the upper hand. He has still quite a lot of X-Warriors living and still has to surround, and the bulk of units is like almost gone, and the mana now is pretty much gone for both players as well. We might see like one more Blood Rush, but the Roman mana has ran out.
Alex is winning that convincingly.
Yes.
I think he does have 100 kills more.
Oh.
Even so, he was fighting against nearly 300 Roman mana. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think it was one of the cases where it's just X-Warriors just beat Romans. You don't really have a good
Look
answer.
here, we see some swordsmen hunting for towers, actually.
Yeah, they're walking around. I've seen them a bit earlier. They weren't that far yet, but I think right now, like in the fight, we also can see that yes, Slayer will win this fight, but
And convincingly, he will have like 120 plus kills.
No. I mean, there was a short distance there where we saw quite a few X's die with like the fighting against the reinforcements because they were quite damaged already. But towards the end, it's then the X-Warriors just close the distance, and there are still plenty of them that
like
have enough HP to just straight up
140.
win. And yeah, that
was a very, very
that's a devastating trade. 120 soldiers positive.
140 even.
Oh yeah, another tick came through on this thing there. Yeah.
And also, Alex is still good on the gold department. He still has like 1 full storage of gold ore, and he has some gold left over on his barracks. For jagdtiger, it's looking quite the same, but he doesn't have like like 10 gold bars less or something, and he's producing less gold bars. That should also be mentioned. He's also not managed to up his mana
a bit. I'm pretty sure he upped it a bit. Like in the north, I don't think
8,
we had
9. 10th one is coming. Yeah. What we should mention is that he is placing his vineyards quite nicely. At least the first ones were very, very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, Alex has 170 more troops. He will get out of his land. He won't be fighting inside of his land anymore. There's no fear. So to drop in combat power, and I think we will see him producing more
the soldiers
now,
of jagdtiger have scouted the back tower, which is
nice,
hilarious.
Yes. Some people will call cheat again. Yannick will be calling. And Alex sees it and crushes it. Wow, that's so impressive to have the mind to look at the minimap, see that and crush the tower.
Yeah, all the way in the back there as well. We still have swordsmen around Slayer's settlement all over the place.
Yeah, but Slayer also has enough access.
Yeah, he just has access to defend.
He's again playing this very safe. He knows he won that fight so convincingly, he doesn't need to win the game on the spot. He just can win every fight from now on because he'll just have more soldiers. He will have more production, he will have more soldiers. You might even see him building, yes we do, we see some healings.
Hospitals, yeah.
Yeah, some hospitals. So he will be healing, and after that he will be fighting. And he's using some mana on iron again, which I think is needed, actually. He wants to add more weaponsmiths now. I think he's still at 9, is that correct? Yes, still at 9, but he will be adding more soon, so casting an additional spell here is quite nice to get them to run faster.
Yeah, start the production for them a bit quicker. Generally, a thing that I really like about Vikings and Trojans, if they did play Stone to Iron / Sulfur to Iron at some point, they still have enough stored up to use a spell. Can really help out in certain shortages. Like you might have had a settlers shortage, you can kind of pause your iron smelters for a tiny bit, and then after you're out of it, fix that issue completely by just converting it. You instantly have your iron bars, can like start your iron smelters again. If you have an iron shortage, obviously, like iron ore shortage, you can obviously just convert and then fix that. Like it can help quite a few situations to just kind of have that ready.
Alex is not building heavy industry. He knows his coal situation is probably not stable enough. He might have added more heavy industry, but he's waiting for more bread to stack up, and he is adding meat production now. So he will have 7 temples, and from these 7 small temples, I think 5 will be producing fighting mana.
Yep.
He's also adding some beautifications. So he will go to 132.
Is there a vision gap there? No.
What happened to Alex? Okay, Alex soldiers on the top moved out, and jagdtiger is chasing them with his war machine. But I don't think he can do anything with the war machine. He will just run into a lot of axes, get surrounded, and killed again.
Yeah, fighting against Axe warriors as Romans are basically a no-go.
If you don't have like really big numbers. In really big numbers, you can actually plan to fight them.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I don't think you need shields. I think his usage of shields was wasted against the blood rushes. He should have put everything into converts.
Yeah, I think the same. And when you put shields, you don't put it on your bowmen, you put it on the converted swords, because it's still better on them than on...
Yeah. You might also use some thunder.
Yeah, I mean you have to diversify your spell usage a bit. You can't just use one singular spell for sure.
Yeah, the lightning spells on the bowman from the Viking. He doesn't have many, so putting like 2 on them is quite nice most of the time if you can kill them.
Yeah.
But I think this game is over. Do you agree? Or
I agree partially. I think the way currently that jagdtiger is playing it, he isn't really doing the exact play that I feel like would be the only winning play. I say that, but then we see that the latest soldiers that were held back by Slayer are now moving forward, and we don't have a tower forward yet finished. It's one about to be finishing at the bottom, but we see War Machine and soldiers going around at the top. Jagdtiger did the classic job of denying, like, even though Slayer tried to play against the map control, the vision, and try to get vision himself, he still doesn't have that much vision. He has a few watchtowers, which will see stuff pretty early. But I think that's like a play this
thing isn't a watchtower, the thing on the bottom, because there's only 2 wood there. So he might be losing.
Wood. 1 stone, 3 wood.
Oh yeah, so it actually is a tower, but he doesn't have a swordsman there or a bowman.
Oh, that's actually true. That's funny.
So it's not
the swordsman isn't right there, but it's to the top left, and
and he does not have any towers, right? He only has
the 3 large towers, from my knowledge right now.
And with the war machine, this might be the Yessen play again.
Exactly, and that is what I'm thinking about. And I probably wouldn't have even...
really needs to put a swordsman or a bowman at the tower.
I think they're close enough. I feel like Banzai or jagdtiger is taking a little bit too long with this play for it to actually work out. I think right now, soldiers, mana-wise, he has enough to...
But Alex is seeing them now. With the watchtower to the top.
They're in the land.
No, he is not moving. He is not moving. And it's a watchtower.
He's moving with the soldiers on the left.
It's a watchtower. It's not a
And he's moving with the soldiers on the right. It is a watchtower. So he has to defend these 3 towers. There's a war machine. There are swordsmen. There are bowmen. There's a priest.
There's
At least I used to see a priest. I am not... I see 3.
There is a priest.
3 priests.
4.
Okay, maybe even that. This play has really high potential to work because there aren't many soldiers nearby, and with aren't many, I mean basically none. A war machine takes quite a few shots to destroy large towers.
There is no priest for Alex. There is a priest for Alex, okay.
I would might be able to... if he actually pulled away a priest. Yeah, I see 2 priests below the bottom large tower. The first swordsmen, I think, are probably attacking the tower. Yes, we see that swordsmen have moved out of the windows there.
And he is moving his war machine to attack the second tower, I guess.
No, I think the war machine is currently shooting the first tower, and I think he's not even gonna capture the first tower if he wasn't doing that, because the swordsmen are about to be dead anyways. Yeah, he's using the converts now.
This might work.
It might work. The question is, does he have enough ammunition to kill 3 towers? Because I don't think he has the soldiers to kill all 3 towers. Or like capture any one of them.
No, he needs ammunition. And Alex needs to snipe the war machine if he can.
Snipe war machine, and right now the bowmen are blocking the war machine. Not just the bowman, also a bit the fact that the war machine wasn't pathing around, as it could have in the meantime. And now it won't get into range, and Jagdtiger would have to do a bit of micro there. But at this point, I think we have too many soldiers there. The war machine doesn't have enough time to get all the way to the 3rd tower and destroy that.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's an amazing play. I feel like 2 war machines and
Alex
only then go.
could have also countered this, building a war machine of his own.
Yes, war machine of his own also does a lot in this case.
Because I don't think that Thor's hammer works on war machines, does it?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. I don't think
I've never asked myself that question before.
I've never either.
Quite nice if it does.
That would be a cool interaction. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work, because I'm pretty sure it works only on buildings. Or, like, we know that buildings and vehicles are treated differently in the game, at least, from the fact that war machines used to only attack military buildings and vehicles and not anything else. So
yeah, but they can attack vehicles, and it's kind of Thor's hammer. So I was thinking maybe, but I think you're right.
I feel like it probably isn't the case. It would be really interesting. I'm not sure if I'd like it or not, but it's something that's spicy to ask. But yeah, I feel like this kind of play, I think the play straight up would have worked if it was 2 war machines and he altered his bowmen like basically to where his swordsmen were, because that way they aren't blocking the war machines, and the war machines kill the towers more quickly. And don't push all your swordsmen in instantly as well, like stay in front of the land a bit more, stack your units a bit more, and have your war machine go up front as well. Like that's the thing that needs to be attacking as quickly as possible. That's the thing that wins you the game. I think the play could have worked 2 war machines, and it would have been relatively simple at that point. Waited a little longer, got a few more soldiers, managed to still deny vision like he did the entire game. It's nothing new. They wouldn't be expecting, oh, now they're gonna be 300 soldiers out of nothing, just because he denied vision, because he was doing that anyways already. So that's the way I saw a win condition. Now, I don't think Slayer's gonna do the same mistake again.
I don't think so too. But he's not attacking. He's just building more temples.
Yeah.
He does not have any rush. He's 240 soldiers. It kills up.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, now I can kill him. No, it's like, now I can capitalize on my gains and build some more mana.
I am curious if what's gonna happen first.
He's outplaying him in economy quite hard.
I'm curious what's gonna happen first. Jagdtiger forfeiting because he just doesn't want to continue playing because Slayer is playing so defensively, or Slayer actually doing something to win the game. I'm not sure what happens, because Jagdtiger isn't really a person to give up early. So I feel like that we'll see at least one more attack of him, but I'm not sure if he actually, if he is at some point just gonna be like, Slayer just stays back and I do not want to engage.
Jagdtiger does not have enough water.
Interesting.
By a large margin. He has all of his mills stacked with... stacked fully.
Water.
He doesn't have enough. He does have enough coal,
I think he just completely
forgot
adding
bread.
waterworks, because we are on 3. I guess 3 is more than what you need for your initial farms, but
2 might not work out, so you mostly build the 3rd one later on at least. So
yeah, I mean, we can see that
the
second waterwork is standing a bit away from the river, so probably would have already not worked with 2.
So the sabos, are they from Alex or are they from Jagdtiger?
Saboteurs we can see from Jagdtiger right now.
So the ones on the bottom here?
19. On the bottom? Oh, there's a warship.
From Alex, yes. It was being built for some time. It's not finishing up yet. It's
no. There's one warship actually driving. That's why I was saying that. I did see the shipyard earlier.
He is building so many temples that he's able to spam his warship. He's just not caring about the mana at all.
I mean, if you look at it, there is fish to be denied on the coast. It is only 5 fishes. And
why is Alex pulling back his diggers again? He was like planning to do another tower, I think, but he pulls back his diggers on the top.
Oh my goodness, he spams small towers. I mean, that's a way to... I think that is actually a pretty bad way to counter war machines, because they aren't nearly as tanky as large towers.
I think with 3 large towers and 5 small towers, you just say...
Yeah, I do think he is fine. I'm not saying that. But I think like small towers are easier to just have like... capture like 2 or 3 of them with some swordsmen. Large towers are harder to actually capture, and war machines take like they have more HP. The armor stat I think is higher for large towers as well. I am not 100% sure, but I definitely know they are tankier. Not quite sure if actually space tankiness is more efficient or something like that kind of calculation. I think something I would have liked, like a little bit in hindsight, if we see how the game has went, and yeah, I feel like what jagdtiger could have done. We're now at 1 hour 27. I think he is by now soldiers quite a bit behind, but I feel like there was a timing at 1 hour 15. If he had made just like 50 saboteurs and had like 5 units, 10 saboteurs, and like 50-ish soldiers, everywhere priests, and he just picks where he fights, I think he can get good trades that way, because in these like really low soldier counts, the Viking mana just doesn't compete against just straight up removing the soldiers that exist there. And he can just kind of like tries to have C's around, like he has already that kind of multitasking, denying vision, being all over the place, had that already going, and he just could have added some saboteurs that multi-prong attack everywhere and try to really make Slayer have to defend on multiple places, take multiple fights, and he can be the person trying to pick and choose which fight he's actually taking and do eco damage everywhere. I feel like that probably would have been the better play, because that way you are only fighting, like if you only fight against like 70 X-Warriors and you're using 200 mana on that, you should be able to win that fight with 50 swordsmen or whatever.
You miss the point you made yourself. The point you made yourself was that actually jagdtiger does not have the APM. What jagdtiger has is the ability to use fewer clicks
I did
to
say
make
that
the enemy do more clicks.
And the pre-show there a bit. I would have liked him to kind of step up and actually try that kind of playstyle, because I know he has tried it before.
Wrong, yes.
And I know that King Cat... I mean, I know from King Cat that King Cat's opinion is that jagdtiger, when you actually try to out-multitask jagdtiger, will win against jagdtiger. At least King Cat will. I know from... By the way, we have some Morses maybe wanting to get a tower outside of land.
And we have some saboteurs moving in on the bottom there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was paying attention around that area. And yeah, I've seen him on a LAN play like jagdtiger, and he doesn't, the way he plays in terms of like how much he uses hotkeys and stuff, he isn't really able to go to like really high APM just off the way how he plays. He uses his mouse for so many things, like selecting buildings, placing them, that he might have gotten better since the LAN, because the LAN is now around half a year ago, and he did get better since then as a player. So things might have changed regarding that, but at least in that timing, and from what King Cat said, he doesn't have the crazy APM. But you can also just be like, fuck my settlement, I focus only on my soldiers, and then you get quite a lot of extra APM to use.
But then you can also maybe get some better trades than Alex, but maybe not so good that you are.
I mean, it's
winning against
it's a suggestion.
him.
I'm not saying it would have been the way to win. I think if you have an insane multitasking, it is an incredibly good way to win for sure.
Alex's ship, by the way, just went right beside the the possible damage. It's just standing there with his nose in the.
We might have
the edge of the
fight
map.
here at the top. We see some swordsmen and Exories engaging with each other, but apparently jagdtiger does not seem to like that and is pulling back, so nothing happening there.
I wouldn't like any trade where you find axes against
He
swordsmen.
did take a trade here at the bottom on the mountain, and he had so many more swordsmen that I think that fight was...
Yeah, that of course is a good trade, but I mean...
It's a rare good trade.
But Alex has like one level 3 soldier on the bottom cleaning the saboteurs of jagdtiger there. So he's not even taking damage there. He might have lost like one mine, which he's rebuilding now.
No, the mine to the left.
And you are right. He's building another tower down here.
Yeah, I just saw the pioneers arrive. More saboteurs
I'm
coming
just
from
pinging
the
it for
right.
the other commentators. And Alex has three warships, and he can destroy like maybe 7 buildings.
He has 3 warships?
He's building a 3rd one.
Okay, yeah.
Or doesn't he? Oh no. Okay, he has 2. One is on defense mission, one is on offense mission. So he didn't plan on like killing any buildings with it. His plan, I think, was just denying jagdtiger the ability to actually do something with warships.
Yeah, we see that for Slayer it would have been quite costly, as he has plenty of waterworks. Like his waterworks at the coast, he has lots of fishes, and if the fishes aren't there, they would be at the river, and then he doesn't have waterworks. And waterworks are the bane of a Viking's existence. If you only have one river and it's a short river, you can't build mana or food eco. It is a little bit laggy here right now. We have plenty of messages of
Lemon.
waiting for I've waited for Lemon and jagdtiger, I think.
I've only waited for Lemon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to deny your enemy any access to ships. And what I also like is that Alex is still adding more economy, and he's adding more economy, and he's adding more economy. And he now has a safe tower at the front also, right by his healing. And he just has so much more soldiers that he won't be taking any bad fights now. He's just overwhelming in numbers, and he cannot be taking any bad fights. But of course, if I was jagdtiger, I would also not crush. I would try to win with all my
I feel
heart.
like I'd be at the
like
point where it's like I might try like one more thing, but then I'd crush.
Jagdtiger is not one to crush. He's playing up until the end.
Like you see, Slayer isn't playing bad. Like you see that Slayer isn't. He keeps stuff back. I mean, he doesn't see it right now, but like he's. To be fair, I don't know. For me, probably I wouldn't have the vision to actually. Although to be fair, I usually play Trojans, and I could just do a vision cast on the barracks and see, oh, he just keeps soldiers back, and then I forfeit.
And see like 3 big towers and 6 small towers, and you would just
you're just like that dude just doesn't want to lose. I'm crushing. Like he might not want to, like he might not actively try to win either, but he is not wanting to lose for sure. And that's just no fun.
And I mean, he just doesn't want to lose, and he isn't losing. I would be mentally crushed by him actually crushing the tower on the bottom there. And me not getting that. That would have tilted me.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
We are losing Lemon.
Yep, we're losing the German co-caster. as apparently the
lack us.
Yeah, is providing us a few lags here, which, yeah, I mean it is just a co-cast, so you can join a Discord stream. But from my knowledge, also he's been up for quite a while and committed into a cast here, and it should probably be quite tired. So he might also just step away. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to say, actually, when you brought up that Slayer is still expanding, we can also see resources used. They are basically the exact same. I think Slayer has a better economy standing because jagdtiger committed lots on mana early, has like built lots of large temple, which are only a instant boost and not an overall.
And also count for more resources because of the gold in them. He has more beautification objects. And he did not crush as many houses.
I am almost certain that the resources used is not affected by beautifications.
Is that true?
I'm pretty sure.
I think that
the resources used
directly
in the
correlated.
Script in the map is affected by beautifications, but the Visitant overlay is not. And on the Visitant overlay, we see that jagdtiger has not quite as much. He has like 100 less resources used. And combat power, I mean.
Yeah, you're right. In the normal game statistics in the chat that you are overwriting with
exactly
overlay,
the stream isn't able to see.
That's exactly true. Alex, by the way, has 14 small temples and 13 weaponsmiths.
Yeah, you gotta have to consider that as well.
Having too much gold. So it's not like he's...
Yeah, same amount of resources used. Vikings, Romans. Vikings tend to have the better buildings.
What I really like about the play that Alex did here, so he is not overcommitted on heavy industry. He is not like in the need to build more farms. He built enough farms to have his heavy industry running without interacting with it.
Yeah,
that's a good adjustment for Viking, because you might lose the game because you just forget to use your spell. He also put some fish on his iron mines because he was overbuilding fish anyway, so he was fine with that, and carried over a time where he didn't have enough food after the fight, where he used all of his mana, and then his meat production kicked in and he was fine again. So actually he does have more meat production than jagdtiger does. They both have 4 meat buildings.
You've actually seen animal ranches? I haven't found one in Slayer Settlement. Why are you talking about that?
Animal ranches? 4. At a big temple on the bottom.
I see 1.
4.
2, 3.
4. 1 is besides the temple and 3 are to the top, and he has
3.
2 slaughterhouses.
I just managed to only see 2.
He was running with 3 for quite some time and ended the 4th one after his weed kicked in.
Yeah, I was wondering when you talked about like keeping his economy running without interacting with him. I was like, it's a cast. Like, what are you talking about? But yeah, no, there are animal ranches. Yeah, this is a crazy economy. This is a proper Viking late game setup with everything you want.
And yeah, but what I really like is if you overcommit on weapon production here, you are in need to build more settlers. Instead, he's focusing on building more mana, which is of course costing him settlers to produce, but not costing him settlers to use. So he is then able to use his materials to expand on more soldiers later on, and still has the same fighting strength. I really like the play, and I think
I generally should. I think it's a amazingly played game by Slayer in pretty much every single regard. I think the biggest weakness was the fact that he half moved out without enough vision after the initial fight, where he had a tiny time frame in which he was able to be attacked.
We have a nice fight on the bottom for jagdtiger. And he's again using shields. I mean, it's okay.
I think at this point the convert is really expensive as well, so I think it is...
yeah, and you shouldn't use mana there at all. I think you're just winning that fight.
I think the lightning there in the end was a
not.
bit wasted, but I think the shields were still worth it.
So he's doing some economy damage down there, but Alex is just moving a lot of stuff down there. Will clean up, will again have a better kill count.
Yeah. This is where I'm like, where I was like saying, like, now imagine you do that not in one place, you do that in 5 places, then Slayer has to really decide where to put which soldiers, and then it can...
But he can't do it in 5 places because the top of the map is cleaned out.
Yeah.
Alex
at this point, Slayer doesn't have to think about how many soldiers he sends. He just sends 100 soldiers and he'll be fine. I was thinking about like what I was saying earlier, where it's like where the game was more even.
A ferry, by the way, from Alex.
Interesting. So he wants to finish the game by different means.
Sniping. See.
Let me actually check the player POVs again and see the vision of
asking.
Slayer has 0 vision realistically of the actual settlement of jagdtiger.
Yeah, but we can't see where he went, so we don't see.
Yeah, I assume he probably went through most of it by now. He might know where the barracks are, but he doesn't actually have like a thief right next to the barracks seeing, oh, that's a good attacking target.
He is losing quite a lot of buildings down there.
Yeah. Yeah, keeping a bowman there is a weird decision. Swordsman I think would make a little bit more sense. We see I think
he's trying to use them on sniping some towers or something.
Yeah.
But Alex is not building any towers. He has all the land he needs. He's just cutting down wood to get more space and spamming buildings everywhere.
The ferry went out.
He's doing weird stuff.
Going places. And yeah, the bowmen will be cleared, the swordsmen were running away, and the saboteurs still do a little bit more damage before they probably are gonna retreat as well, probably taking that... Why are they... Okay. Yeah. Jagdtiger realizes that they are not gonna get towards that fisher. The 2 that are there can kill the fisher, and then they're dead. They don't get it.
You want to say the waterworks, yeah. He might be denying some mana production here, because the mana production does not have that much water. Like, it has 1 water each, so he is actually denying mana production here.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, at this point, does it really matter? That's the issue.
But Alex is moving too much to the top again. He should have left at least like a few X-Men to kill all the... He's left like 1 swordsman there. Okay, 3 swordsmen. That should be enough to kill everything.
Oh, you mean to kill the saboteurs?
Yeah, the remaining saboteurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also like a typical play from jagdtiger. His swordsman moved through, and now he's just forgetting about them.
Yeah.
Alex is moving out. Alex has had enough. He thinks he's
he now
way
has
ahead,
balls.
and he's now killing.
He now has the balls to actually go into the offensive. 140 combat power with 300 mana, 600 mana for jagdtiger, but the mana costs at this point, like his spells are too expensive to have.
The only spell he's able to realistically use is lightning bolt.
Yeah, he didn't use that one that much yet.
Spell, like,
but even that is
so
expensive.
Even if he uses lightning bolts, what will he kill? X-Men? Good luck with that.
Yeah, there's nothing really he can do at this point. I think the only thing he kind of still hopes for, but even for that the unit composition he has at the top there isn't really suited for what I was wanting to consider, is hoping that Slayer moves out into this entire army again and should go for another snipe attack. But he doesn't actually have anything prepared that would actually be scary.
I want to describe this game with one sentence. The sentence I want to use is stoppable force against immovable objects.
Yeah, that is rather fitting.
He is not caring about his barracks at all. He's built the tower up front, and that's not getting sniped, so he's positioning his soldiers like in a line through his land and just now moving through Jagdtiger's land with what he has left. Oh no, he's not not even trying to kill, he's just destroying buildings.
Yeah.
That's a very, very patient
It's
play.
slow and painful, as I said, as Jagdtiger. It's...
Do you know the spoon killer?
No.
From Monty Python?
No, I don't.
Monty Python has a video where someone gets killed by a spoon, someone tapping him with a spoon like over the course of days. And that's how it feels like what Alex is doing to Jagdtiger here.
I mean, it's the... That just doesn't go into offensive whatsoever.
I need to prepare that for the memes channel.
Yeah. Yeah, this gives me vibes of kind of how the game against Jessen went, the second game. It's like, really... he focuses on his strength. His strength is building up just really good settlements. He is really good at building. His economies are amazing. Macro is amazing. He's able to take good fights as well. But he definitely isn't the person that is just doing a rush, finishing the game at PT and just winning. And to be fair, if you look at the civilizations that were played today, I wouldn't say that this is a matchup that was in favor of Jagdtiger. At least from what we've seen from him, his Romans weren't the best. And I would say that Slayer's Vikings, I mean, we saw they are amazing. With peak gameplay by him. Peak building. A lovely settlement that he basically doesn't have to care about anymore. He just builds settlers. And I assume, I say he just builds settlers. He doesn't need to care about it, but I assume he still builds stuff. Like, looking at the resources used, it still went up, even though the saboteurs went in. Did the ferry, by the way, do anything?
I don't think it has troops inside.
I feel like he wants to put a tower on the island.
What a nice play. Yeah, I see. He does.
Oh yeah, he actually unloaded them now.
Trying to fight again, by the way. He's doing another push.
Oh, and
also has this war machine with him again. Alex is pulling away all of his soldiers here. I don't like that. And he sees the troops, and now he actually engages, and he's lost his patience. I mean,
I wouldn't say he lost his patience. So I think he just knows he can engage. There's not gonna be anything keeping him back. And yeah, I think Jagdtiger again not waiting on half of his army. Okay, now he does. Is the war machine actually there? I at least don't see a war machine, which I feel is odd.
The war machine is on the right, with the bomb both there.
Yeah, I'm blind, but nonetheless, we see X Warriors fight in 2 rows against
Go from the X's to the right. But yeah.
We see it's like it's not even close.
Alex is not even using mana. He's just saying, I'm winning this. Fuck it.
Yeah, not even close. He doesn't even do perfect micro.
You see like a straight line going from the barracks to the top, and a bulk of X-Men moving there, and some X-Men even going top to cut the reinforcements there. But he's using a lot of mana there, so it will look like he has kind of a chance, and then Alex is going to use mana and he's just going to die.
I personally never felt like it looked like he had a chance.
Yeah, no, not really.
I think he never needed to use any mana. Already. I think the thing that would have been the most beneficial is actually microing his Axe Warriors so that he gets a bigger concave, like a bigger encirclement, because he had so many just stacked up behind each other. Partially also
but he also
has
some like bowmen behind his lines, which are also doing a great amount of DPS.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the exact same thing as Jagdtiger as well.
I think the War Machine died.
Yeah. Was it a question if the War Machine died? Or did you say it died?
I did not see it.
I mean, I've actually managed to never see it. I have zero clue what you were talking about.
Jagdtiger only has one tower left, which is getting sniped at the moment.
Yeah, he wrote GG in the chat. I think he... I mean, there's nothing he can do here.
1,500 soldiers, 900 mana from Alex.
Yeah, I've not yet went out.
I posted statistics.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, mana advantage from Jagdtiger isn't even that large anymore. And even if it was large, isn't compete. I would say that this, if you look at your classic 3v3 statistic from normal games we play outside of the tournament, Jagdtiger's game looks amazing. But then you look at Sayer's game, you're like, that game is just ridiculously good.
Yes. It's like it
isn't comparable.
Toolsmith, 11 Sawmill, Viking played from minute 1 to minute like 140 or something without missing anything for the fighting.
It's absolutely amazing.
But I think Tiger's game is not amazing. It's good, but it's not an amazing game for 148.
No, I definitely don't think that this is like one of his best games, but it's something where you aren't mad about it.
No. But it would be amazing if it was like 140.
Yeah, if it was just a bit back. Okay. Now...
Are they going to make a pause? Am I able to cook?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering the same. We wanted to it has been more than 3 hours by now since this game took a while.
Probably go to them and listen to them talk. Okay, no, they are not talking. Jagdtiger just left, and Lemon and Kingcat are in the channel alone. I will go to the top and see if they are talking about the game, and else I will ask.
Yep.
How long we are pausing?
Yeah. And then.
So see you soon, I guess.
Exactly. I'll just talk about something of the game. I mean, yeah. First match. They won the first match, first game here. In this best of 5, I want to highlight that again. So far, it has always been best of 3, or I mean, I guess in this stage it was a best of 1, but now this is a best of 5. We are supposed to play another match today. I think both players will still do that because they have plenty of time. Like, they brought time for tomorrow. This is how it was supposed to be. The final was supposed to be played relatively in close proximity. And yeah, I mean, we have the first game done. We're gonna see another one. Slayer won the first game. Vikings and Romans are out of the running. I think losing your Romans as your first pick as Jagdtiger, nothing to be worried about. Vikings, a victory that Slayer definitely like to see. I think in hindsight, I will ask them when I get the chance to, which I'm very certain we will. Yeah, I will get a chance. I just read we'll be doing a 10 to 15 minute break. Okay, before I get into the break, I will ask them what was I thinking about? What the pick order was, because I'm genuinely curious if Slayer must have decided to pick Vikings into Romans. We saw how unplayable it looks to fight against X-Warriors against Romans. It's the only civilization that doesn't have a straight counter towards them. X-Warriors are just basically swordsmen and better, and Romans don't have a unit to specifically counter swordsmen or swordsmen and better. They can deal with swordsmen because swordsmen aren't that strong, but they don't have a blowgunner or backpack catapulters that just straight up annihilate the swordsmen. And I mean, of course, Vikings can build their own warriors. Yeah, I asked the matchup, but I think it was probably active counter picked by Slayer, and that way I think the picking probably was best played for both players. We'll see what the next round will bring. We are going to a pause. 10 to 15 minutes is the call, and then I think then is probably when we're gonna set up the match, so I'm expecting more like 15 to 20 minutes till we are in the next game. With that, I'm wishing you a nice pause, and be right back for Game 2 of the Settlers 4 World Championship 2025 Finals. See you soon.